So the crash happened at a site in northeast Philadelphia where there happened to be oil tanks very close to the site. And I imagine that if the train crash had impacted that, the magnitude of this tragedy would have been so much greater. Philadelphia has a booming energy economy. We have oil trains running through the area on a very frequent basis. Is that safe to have so much of our of our city where the people live in close proximity with a lot of this oil train traffic?
I think that's an interesting question. In Philadelphia, before this derailment, we had 2 oil trains derail. This derailment happened near a Conrail rail yard, which did have some, we're told, empty oil tanks there, and it came within about 100 yards of hitting them. And actually, if those trains were just further up along the line, it looks like they might have gone even, might have actually hit. There have been, I think, over the last year or so, and maybe you know the actual number, about 1,000 derailments. And generally, oil tanking has gone through the roof in the last couple of years as we've started exploiting the Bakken shale. And so it's something we really need to look into.
Yeah, and it's a hidden part of this larger debate around American energy independence, as we've been able to exploit these fields, and as we're generating so much more of this oil, and so much attention on things like the Keystone Pipeline, which dominates the news stories. Very little attention to something like this, unless a tragedy strikes. And there's been lots of warnings, because you're right, if something happened here, it would absolutely be catastrophic. I mean, we saw this happen up in Canada. This is absolutely something that we don't want to have happen here. But we have this disconnect because we don't talk about energy and transport together, and we don't talk about passenger transport and freight transport together. All these things in America are kept separate. They're very, very siloed. The freight rail system, as you know, is entirely privately owned and operated, and so they're making the investments in the system. They're reaping the benefits of this renaissance that's going on freight rail right now, when Amtrak is this quasi-public sort of different entity that's kind of this institutional orphan in a lot of ways. We've got to join up these conversations on the transport side and then join them up on the energy side as well. There's no reason these things need to be separate.
Is there a way potentially where energy companies could support better infrastructure for transporting natural gas and oil through cities?
Well, I think they are. It's just not being connected then to this other question about the passengers. And I think they're very attuned to the safety issue, because, again, it would be absolutely devastating, and nobody obviously wants that. So they're very attuned to it. I think it's going to take money, it's going to take resources, and it's going to take some hard decisions. I mean, if we don't want these things in the cities where the refineries are here in Philadelphia, where are they going to be? I mean, it actually has provided a tremendous boost to the refinery economy here in the city that really needed it. It's a big double-edged sword that I don't think we're ready to make those decisions yet.